All right, so this week's topic was feminism and international relations, and I decided to respond to Jimmy Dool's post. The quote that he mentions is Tickner's quote: "Bringing feminist perspectives into the discipline of international relations began through conferences and collaboration, a feminist way of doing things." He says he understands he's a man, he's masculine. He goes on talking about how some women do like traditional roles and they get chastised for it, which is true. Some women do like being homemakers, just like some men do. There's really nothing wrong with that. But then he goes on to say about our economy has reacted to working households of women. Most couples can't afford a two-bedroom apartment unless both adults in the couple are working. Our society used to have sole working households. Do you see feminism as having any drawbacks in the capitalist society as our own? Well, first, I think that one reason that people have to be in a bedroom apartment, because they both couples work and they can't afford it, isn't really because women went back to work. It's because we live in a society where we have stagnant wages that have not kept up with the rate of inflation. Um, Also, he goes on and he asks, we can all agree women should be equal to men in society, but put that way, can you see any drawbacks on the economic side of society? And does it have negative effects? Does it have positive effects? Well, Tigner also says the bigger worry for feminist theory is the danger of seeing women as victims who lack agency. And I think that's where really this whole thing comes from. There's some kind of imagination that the 1950s were great when women stayed home. And I think that the biggest thing about women going back to work is that we don't have the parental guidance for kids that they need. But once again, like I said, we can't say it's just women going back to work, because women don't lack agency. They are just as equal to men, being able to do the same things. If they want to stay home, great. If a man wants to stay home, great. But I think that a lot of the reason that you have is it's not women, it's the fact that workers aren't getting paid living wages. I mean, you hear people complain all the time, well, we shouldn't give fast food workers $15 an hour when paramedics don't make with $15 an hour. Well, you know what? Maybe we should raise the wages for paramedics and raise the wages for fast food workers, any minimum wage worker. That's pretty much my answers. I don't. The only negative effects I can see of women working is that it does leave children to their own device a lot of times. And I think that sometimes, because of the lack of supervision, we do have more trouble. But once again, we can tackle those things if we had, you know, publicly funded daycare, not just for low income people. Look at the cost of daycare right now. It's ridiculous. And you even have single fathers who have to pay for daycare. So it's not just something that affects women who want to work. But that's my answer.